Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Kev, your favorite degenerate. And today, I wanted to compare Halo Infinite and Halo 5 against each other, because in the latest development blog update we got for the game, there are a lot of people in the community who are really nettled, to say the least. And the simple reason for that is because we expected a bit more to come out of 343 than what we've gotten. And I think a lot of people in the community have borderline gotten sick of saying the exact same complaints and issues that we've had with the game for the past couple of months now, because it's well established what we have problems with. That's not really the issue. What we want to talk about today is comparing Halo Infinite to Halo 5 and seeing where each of these games were in their life cycles after launch and what has really been done, because it's more fair to compare 343 against their former selves. So let's start off by going through Halo 5 Guardians. The game released on October 27th, and then almost under a month later, there was a content drop on November 18th. So less than a month later, we already had stuff coming our way. It was the addition of Big Team Battle, because Halo 5 launched with 4v4 and Warzone, but there wasn't anything for those classic people who wanted to have a reasonably larger team, but not massive. So Big Team Battle launched 1 month later, alongside 4 maps that came with it, and a bunch of customizations for your Spartans, weapons, and vehicles. Our next content drop for Halo 5 would come in December with the Cartographer's Gift. This update was absolutely phenomenal for Halo 5 because it brought Forge into the game alongside 3 different canvas maps and also a couple more maps for Arena, Warzone, and Big Team Battle, and then you also had the usual slew of armor customization, weapons, skins, weapon variations, visors, emblems, the list goes on. So this was a really good turning point for Halo 5 and the people who were fans of it. Then you had Infinity's Armory, which was another content drop that happened on January 2016. This included, once again, the usual cosmetics and customizations alongside 2 more maps which would join the game and the usual existing roster. One thing I wanted to add about this content drop is that it also had a couple of small tweaks for the game. Now, I will openly admit that I am not a Halo 5 fanboy. That is very well established for anyone who has been watching my videos for quite some time. But I do have to give 343 props on this. They had a crazy good stream of content, and there was no live service promise back then either. This was them going and adding more and more to the game and making it what they wanted it to be and what it should have been. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to talk about Halo Infinite's content, its customization, and then go forward through comparing it to Halo 5. So, as far as actual content, well, yeah. It's a bit laughable, but we've really only had the addition of the attrition game mode. So as far as actual content goes, we've had very little, but customization-wise, things have been a little bit better. The Tenrai event which we had was able to add a fair few things, and it did need some tweaking, but it did actually get to a much better point in the end. Then we also have the Winter Special for Christmas and the Cyber Showdown, which were both able to add a couple of small things. So in total, Halo 5 had over 100 cosmetics added to the game as possible unlocks after 3 months of the game being out. Halo Infinite has about half that amount that was added to the game, but that is not including the store. And you should all remember that Halo 5, while a lot was available, you weren't able to unlock any of it selectively. You had to get it through bundles, and that would be through you putting a crap ton of time into the game or just purchasing your way through most of it. Despite everything that I've just said, you should all remember one important thing. 343 were able to squash issues and bugs and problems that people have had with the game in a much faster timeline than ever before. We don't have an issue that we have to deal with for months on end. These issues are being addressed much quicker than ever before, which I do have to give serious props and respect to the employees for. So to give a fair and a balanced opinion in this, it's pretty easy to say that Halo Infinite has had way more tweaks and smaller updates of actual gameplay issues. However, the game itself has not received anywhere near as much content, and ultimately, the live service model has failed to match that of Halo 5. This is especially bad when it's one of your main advertising points for what's going to help make the game good, and you can't fulfill that. This next part doesn't always register too high on people's scales, but it's important to remember. During Halo 5, the crunch and the work hours were terrible for the employees of 343, and after Halo 4 and 5 both having ridiculous crunch, it was something that was really important to the company to make sure that it follows through on its promises of not overworking its employees. So I do have to say, I've got mad respect for the people there for actually sticking to their word. This is also relevant because apparently the same thing happened post-launch for Halo 5. They were still being overworked and in a crunch. So in my honest opinion, I believe that Halo 5 was doing better at this point in time for post-launch content, and that's a very clear and easy thing to see. However, we've had many more fixes and issues addressed at a much faster rate for Infinite. There is some good things and there are some bad things. Overall, I do appreciate them looking after their employees, but I think that we do need a roadmap and the same level of communication that we used to get just before the game released. Right now, it feels as if we're getting half the story because we're getting what's changed, but we're not getting the reasons why. So I think that a little bit more in terms of what they used to be doing just before Halo Infinite released is needed to help make sure that the community knows the full story of what's going on behind the scenes. But that's just my opinion on all of this. Let me know what you all think in the comments section down below. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so that way we can reach 1K. We're getting closer by the day, and I cannot wait to smash that out with you guys. It's all part of the great journey, so join me. I've been Kiv, and I'll see you all on the next one.